So you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Maybe you've ridden dirt bikes before, something like that, and you think you're not ready for a street bike, or you just have never ridden a street bike or any motorcycle for that matter, and you just want to learn. So what I'm going to do in this video is try to teach you guys the basics, just the main basics of how to ride a motorcycle and whatnot, and hopefully you guys learn how to ride it. We're not going to go in depth of how to turn, how to corner and all these things, but we're just going to get your bike going and for you to stay sitting without dropping it. To begin with, really, to start, the main thing that you need to know is you gotta find an open area, a parking lot with a lot of space where you can make mistakes and where you're not gonna hit other cars or other people. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna try to find a nice little parking lot to park and set up, and then I'll teach you guys how to ride a motorcycle, and hopefully you learn. So after you've ridden for miles and miles, and at this point you already know how to ride your motorcycle, you find your big parking lot with no cars and no one moving around. You want to pull in, ouch, and park right in the middle where everyone can see you and you're the center of attention, but you're not going to be hitting anything or anyone. You're going to have as much space as you can to make mistakes. So we already did the first part, found a venue or training grounds where it's big, empty, and no one's going to crash into you. You're not going to crash into anyone. Don't go into your local Walmart or Costco because they have a big parking lot, because people might be coming in and out. As you can see, there's no one here. There's cars back there, but no one's coming in this area. You don't want to be in a high traffic area. And then after you find that place, you can start going to your motorcycle. Hopefully you find someone that has a motorcycle that can let you borrow it, or you got your own motorcycle. Whatever it is, be safe, be careful, wear all your gear. I got my jacket right there. You guys saw it earlier in the video, but it's almost 91 degrees here, so please give me a break. I'm just gonna be parked here. We're not going anywhere. So if you really want to learn how to ride a motorcycle quick, safely, and you want to make sure you know how to ride it without destroying your bike, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do it in 2 days. Okay, you're gonna go in your computer, you're gonna go in Google, you're gonna look up nearest motorcycle safety course to me, and you're gonna sign up. You might have to pay, you might not have to pay if you can find a free one, but they will give you a bike that you can drop and you don't have to worry about. They will teach you all the basics with expert matter or subject expert matter or whatever, however you say that, people that are gonna be there with you, and they're gonna tell you how to do everything, and they're gonna be there making sure you do everything the right way. Because I can make this video, but I cannot see what you're doing. So maybe you're doing something wrong that I can see. If you sign up for a motorcycle safety course, oh, that's out the door. You're gonna have the best class you can get, and you're gonna have bikes that you can drop and you don't have to worry about. But if you don't want to do that, then this video is for you. We're gonna start with the basics, your controls. First, you got your ignition, where you put your key. Most bikes are gonna be right here. They might be on the side, depending on your bike, or it might be in the front. Find your ignition switch, put your key in. You have lock your steering wheel, so now you can't move it. Off, your motorcycle's off, but you can't move it. And then you got your ignition on. Next, in the left side, let's begin from the left to the right. Furthest most left, you have your gear switch right here. This is where you change gears. So you will have your foot like this. If you go down once with your clutch in, that's first. Half up is neutral. Half up from neutral is second. So if you go down to first and 1 full revolution up, that's second, then third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Then the same to go down. Fifth, fourth, third, second, first. And then half of it up, you go back to neutral. Next up, from the left to the right, you got your clutch lever right here. Pull it in, clutch disengages, no traction to your back tire. Next up, let go of the clutch, clutch engages, and now you have traction to your back tire. You have to feel your clutch and learn where your traction or your friction zone is. Every bike is different, every clutch is different, even in the same type of bike, so you gotta feel your bike. Next, you have your high beam indicator right here. Your lights are always on, your high beams are on. Then you have your high beam flashing right here. And then this is different in every bike. For my bike, this is how I change the stuff in the dash. Next up in the left, you have your turning signal. Left goes left, right goes right. If you've never ridden a motorcycle, you've ever always ridden cars, this is going to be a tough one for the new people, because when you activate your turning signal, it's going to stay on forever until you click it. So that's how you can spot a new rider out there. When you see someone turning left and then they turn left and it's been half a mile and the light is still on, they forgot to turn it off. That's how you know when people are new. So always remember to turn off your lights. Next, your horn right here. If I turn it on, you're going to be able to hear it. You got your horn right there. Next, moving to the right side from top to bottom. Right side, you got your kill switch. This turns off the engine, turns on the engine. You have your hazard flashes and your actual ignition switch. This is what turns on the bike. Next, you have your throttle or your gas. This is what gives gas to the motorcycle. We all know that. Even if you've never ridden a motorcycle, we all play around when we're at the supermarket, you know. That is me. I don't know. Maybe no one knows that. Maybe it's just me. And next, you have your front brake. This is what engages your the front brake and your front tire. In a motorcycle, the front brake does most of the work. I believe it's 80-20 or 70-30, something like that. Your front brake is the one that brakes the most when you're riding a motorcycle. That's why you see people go forward when they stop. Next, if you keep going down, right side, you have your back brake. This stops the back tire. It does a lot less of the work, but if you can learn how to use both brakes when you have an emergency and you have to stop out of nowhere, that's gonna save your life. Okay? So those are your main controls in your motorcycle. Not all of them are the same. If you drive like a Harley or something, you might have your left turning signal on this side and your right turning signal on this side. Some bikes do it differently, but most bikes are exactly the same. Now that you hopefully know all these things, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes you better. So if you can, just sit on the bike for a little bit and mess with everything without the bike being on in a safe area. Mess with your clutch. Feel the clutch. Feel how it feels pulling in the clutch. Mess with your brake. Feel how it feels when you push the bike forward a little bit with your feet and hit the brake. Try to play with everything so you can get used to it without the bike being on. That's a good thing that they taught me in my motorcycle safety course. We used to just sit on the bikes and they would tell us, we're gonna do a simulation. Okay? Hands in the handlebars, pull in the clutch, go to first. Go to neutral, let go of the clutch, hands up. Hands on, clutch, first, neutral, off, off. And we would just do that for a few times until everybody got comfortable with what each thing is. Pretty much it's just simulations, just play in your head like you're actually riding the motorcycle and you're trying to learn what to do. That way, when you actually need to do it, it's a lot easier. Alright, next up, cockpit view. We're going to turn on the bike. Like I said, you have your ignition right here. Turn it to on. Your motorcycle is going to start doing all the cool technological thing it does. Then your kill switch has to be on. Press your actual ignition switch. Bike comes to life. Right now, we're not ready to ride it. If you've never ridden a motorcycle before, try to get used to everything before you even start going. One thing, it might happen to you, it might not. If your peg is still down and you pull in the clutch and you go to first gear, guess what's gonna happen? Bike is gonna die. It's not gonna let you go anywhere with that peg down. So you have to put it back in neutral, turn it back on, bring your peg up, and now you can put it in first gear. So really quick, in this camera, maybe a little camera on the side, let's go through each gear. I have a gear indicator right here. You pull in your clutch, push down, first gear, up half, neutral, down, bikes like to be moving, first gear, and then you go up, second gear, third gear, and so on. So motorcycles like to be moving to engage their gears. They don't like to just be stopped. So if you try to change gears and you're not moving, it might be really hard to get those gears on. But I hope you catch the drift. Down, one, everything else is up. There's bikes that people modify them to have what's called GP shifting, which pretty much just flips everything. One, it's up, and all the other ones is down. It's pretty much what race bike drivers do on their motorcycles. but every street bike is going to be set up like this unless the person decided to flipperoonie it. Alright, next up we're going to get the actual motorcycle moving. If you're driving a manual car, you know how to play with the clutch, you know how to play with the gas, you know how to play with the brake. Motorcycles are a little bit different. You don't have to worry that much about the clutch. Best thing you can do, pull in your clutch, go to first gear, and then play with your clutch so you can find that friction zone. You see how you hear the engine kind of dying when you let go of the clutch? It's pretty much where my clutch actually engages, right here. You can see it now. So that when you start hearing the engine die, that's where your clutch is engaging. So you can just do this over and over until you feel comfortable that you know where your friction zone is. You see, you can let it go until the engine is about to die and then just pull it in. That makes you be comfortable with your friction zone and your clutch. And because this is not like a car, this clutch are usually wet clutches, so you're not gonna burn it out as fast as a car clutch would burn out. If you stop in a traffic light and start doing this with your car, you're gonna burn your clutch real quick, and then you're gonna stall like that, and you're gonna look like a goofy goober. But basically, find your friction zone. After you finally find your friction zone, you can start trying to give it some gas and move. Don't be ashamed of doing the duck walk, okay? If you want to be safe and you actually want to learn, don't think about what other people are thinking. So if you're riding and you're just learning how to ride, and this is how you have to do it, keep your feet down. Don't try to bring your feet up just because you don't want people to see your feet in the ground. If you're learning how to take off in your motorcycle, don't worry about anyone else. Just do your thing. Feel your clutch, feel your gas, give it that little bit of gas that you need, and just leave your feet down. If you have to walk the whole parking lot with your feet down so you feel safe, go ahead and do it. So you start letting go of the clutch little by little, feet down, you keep walking, give it a little bit of gas, and when you feel comfortable that you're in a straight line and you can let go of the clutch, let go of the clutch slowly, give it a little bit of gas, and the bike is pretty much just gonna ride itself. Feet are up, you're going straight, and you're just going very, very slow. Now you know how to take off in your motorcycle. Now you're actually riding, you're actually moving. But this doesn't mean that you know how to ride already. Next up, we need to know how to stop. So we're gonna go back over there to the setup. Start going, clutch in, always clutch in first, and then brake slowly. Feet down, put both feet down if you don't feel comfortable. Don't try to look cool because you're in a motorcycle, because those times will come when you look cool. But when you're learning, just learn. Go at your own pace, do what you feel safe with, do what you feel comfortable with. And try to have someone there to help you out in case of an accident. If something happens, you have someone else to help you. One thing that you always want to do, try to have a straight wrist. If you can see my wrist right here, very straight, because if you're doing this and you start like giving it gas and you don't realize, you have a lot of play here to mess yourself up if you give it too much gas. But if your wrist is straight like this, when you're giving it gas, you have a lot of less space to play with, which is going to be better for you if you make a mistake. So try to have a straight wrist like this. So we'll do it again. First gear, feet down, both feet down, be safe. Start letting go of the clutch slowly until you feel that clutch engage, and do your little dog walk for a little bit until you feel comfortable. And then you bring your feet up and the motorcycle is just going. When it comes to turning and things like that, I might make another video, I might not. We'll see how this does, but maybe. You're pretty much just riding and enjoying your little ride in first gear. Let's talk about now going into second gear, or keep going if you're going a little bit faster. As you can see, we're going 8 miles an hour. But if you're trying to go a little bit faster, you're gonna have to change gears to keep going. So you already know when you're in neutral, wanting to go to first gear, you put your clutch in, you put your foot down, and you let go slowly to try to take off with that friction zone. You control that friction zone so your bike doesn't die. But next we're gonna go to second gear. So how do you do that? After you're going, it is a lot easier. The hardest part to learn is just the takeoff. So if you start going, you start speeding up, all you're gonna do is pull the clutch in, let go of the gas, one full revolution up, let go of the clutch. You can let go of the clutch fast and just give it gas again. So downshift again to first, and we'll do that again. We'll go right here on the straight. Start giving it gas, giving it gas, giving it gas. Let go of the gas, clutch in, full revolution up, let go, give it gas. And now you're going again. Same as with every gear. The faster you go, the higher gear you need, and so on, so on. You get used to it after a while, and it's not hard, but it's kind of hard to get used to it if you've never ridden anything that's manual. So let's do a quick drive-by here and change gears. You got first gear, you're going, let go of the gas, full revolution up, let go of the clutch, and you're going again. If you want to stop, if you gotta come to an abrupt stop, we're not gonna talk about downshifting yet. But if you're riding and you're in first gear and second gear, as we're right now, you can see it right here, and you have to stop, all you're gonna do, pull in your clutch, let go of the gas, and brake. Brake until you come to a stop, and now you're good. Now you can just hit it down, go back to first, and you can do your whole thing again. Let go of the clutch slowly, give it a little bit of gas, do your duck walk, then feet up. So these are just the basics of how to ride a motorcycle and keep it going. But I'm not talking about like turning and leaning your bike and whatnot. That would be another episode, because there's a lot that goes into turning, counter steering, or I forgot all the other names, so I'll have to study it. But if you have any questions, I hope I said anything that made any sense in this video. I'm just trying to teach the basics of how to ride a motorcycle, and if it's bad, I'm gonna make my wife watch it, and if she says it's bad and she didn't understand anything, I might have to do it again. But as of now, that's all I have to say, and hopefully you guys feel comfortable to ride a motorcycle now.